Hi, my name's Mandy and welcome to my YouTube channel, What Mandy Made Next. Today is Tuesday the 25th of July 2023. Well, I say Tuesday, it's what's left of Tuesday. It's quite late on here in the UK, it's about 9:30. But I'm desperate to get this vlog uploaded, so better late than never. I will be looking down because I have wrote plenty of notes, so yeah, it's going to be quite jam-packed again, I'm afraid to say. So for those of you who don't know me, I love to knit, crochet, stitch, make my own clothes, although today I'm wearing what we call ready-to-wear garment. But yeah, I do like lots of different crafts which I do on different days. So no further ado, I think we'll start with my Miniature Monday, and this is where I make a mini project, and I'll show you her right behind me now. So this is my Angels Amongst Us doll. It's got a thread there hanging off, and I've made her summer apron, so I don't want it to blow out. But there we go, that's the summer apron. So this is a club, it's run by Liberty Bell, which is an online shop in the UK. If you go on the website and you are interested in making this doll, you get an apron sent to you each month. Well, not each month, there's not 12 aprons, but for the seasons and for special events that you may celebrate. So if you want the Easter one, you can opt for that as well, or the Halloween or Christmas. So yeah, this is the summer apron now completed, and I'll show you in a little bit more detail. although believe it or not, that's taken me quite a while to do. It took me at least a couple of Mondays to make that apron up. It looks so simple and quick to do, but they're not. So yeah, you do get your money's worth because there's quite a lot of crafting involved. So that leaves me with a new project for Monday. Now, I'm also signed up at Liberty Bell again, and I'll pop all the links in down below to the shop, this online shop. And it's this here, and it's called Sweet and Simple, and it's by Buttermilk Basin. And I think this might be the July one. So it just says sewing on it, but I know I get a kit every month, and they usually measure about 4.5 across inches by at least 10.25 inches, so 10.25 down. So they are quite substantial, and you can hang these on walls or on your door handles or your drawers, and every month you just change them up. So I may make that. The other thing I was thinking of making is a hexie cushion. I signed up last year to the 12-month programme by Molly and Mama. It was a I think it was called Pretty Stitches Club, and I think, if I remember rightly, there was a pattern on there, or there was something on there I wanted to do. It was like a little mini quilt or something, and I was going to make it into a pillow. And I bought these fabrics from Abercorns a few weeks ago now. I think I may have shown you these before, but I thought these would go lovely in my granddaughter's bedroom. So, and that looks rather sweet for a dress, doesn't it, really? Doesn't that look cute? I might measure how much I've got actually and have a look, because that certainly, that certainly looks, that would make a sweet little dress. See, this is what happens. I buy these fabrics to do something, and I think, oh, this will make something different. So, oh dear. But yeah, I'm definitely going to have a look at sorting out some sort of cushion cover for her for a bedroom. So that is on my list as well. So those are two projects, and then there's another project, and it was again from the Pretty Stitches Club by Molly and Mama, and it was a tote bag. And I've got so many scraps of material now, I really want to get a fabric stash down. So I thought this would be an ideal project for that, and also very useful, because who doesn't love a project bag? Which reminds me, I had a lovely email from you, Mary. So Mary was the lady who won the project bag from a couple of vlogs ago, and yeah, I actually sent it off the other day, and she received it and sent me a lovely email. Thank you, Mary, and I hope you're watching this vlog as well. So yeah, who doesn't love a project bag? So yeah, that's 3 projects in the mix there for a Monday, which I'll be able to show you next time, the progress or the finished objects next time I vlog. Tuesday, I call that my Thimble Tuesday, and this is when I like to work on a small cross stitch project. Now, for the last few weeks I have been naughty and working on my full coverage, but I was quite stern with myself, and I stole myself away from that project. And yeah, I dug out of my stash, and I think I showed you last time I vlogged, it was 2 anchor kits I had from a charity shop, and one was of some oranges and one was of pears. Well, I thought, well, I'll start stitching, and I finished it. So it's just a simple little, what I call a palette cleanser really, because it gave me a break from the full coverage. So yeah, that is an anchor kit I had. So I don't know what to do with this, because I mean, I could frame it, but to me I don't know if I'd like that as a picture really, you know, hanging on my wall. So I have seen, now it's an Instagram I follow, and the handle is nonarsays77, and she'd stitched, I don't know if you remember, I had a little Halloween pillow, not Halloween, it was an autumn pillow. I stitched, I think it was a couple of years ago now actually, and it was a crow on some pumpkins, and it was by, oh, is it Lila Studios? I think it was Lila Studios, and I made mine into a pillow. Well, she has made hers into, finished it onto a board, you know, like is it Vanna Pfeiffer, the Twisted Stitcher? She does some lovely finishes, and I thought that looked really lovely. But I don't know if this is too big to finish on a board really, and have on my dresser for the summer. Oh, I've got it upside down, there we go. Or just to make it into a pillow. I haven't quite decided, but it shouldn't take me too long to make that into a pillow for my display when I sort it out on my dresser. So just have to bear with me, but I'm definitely not framing it. But yeah, really pleased with that. You know, just a few colours to deal with. So this means that I've now got a slot on my Tuesday. And I was looking at a little cottage needleworks, but then I've decided definitely on this one. And it's by the Scarlet House. So what's it called? Sweet Tomato. So I'll bring that up close and you can see that. And I thought with summer, and now our tomatoes in the greenhouse are ripening off, I thought that would be rather an apt little cushion to make. So I'm definitely going to kit that up this week and start on that. On Wednesday I like to work with wool, so I'd like to crochet, knit, and yeah, I have finished my socks. Well, I say mine, these are for my partner. So yeah, I haven't sewn in the ends yet, so do forgive. So this wool is called, it's an opal wool, and it was called Fairy Tale. And then I knit the toes and the cuff in a Regia yarn. I think that was charcoal. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how these have turned out. Now this is a Fleagle heel, and yeah, that's what he likes. But you know what the amazing thing was? Is when I was knitting this, because there are so many different patterns, I thought when I come to knit the next sock, I thought, you know what, I'm not going to be able to match up the stripes, if you know what I mean, because there was that many different patterns, you see, in the yarn. But as luck happens, I did 2 rows and it was in this blue, and then it started in this one. So it's not quite off. It's not too bad. It's quite, you know, it's matching up. So I'm quite pleased with that. Just a fluke. I've used Susie's Magic Bind Off for the cuffs. So he likes a stretchy rib around the cuff there, because obviously he doesn't want them too tight. And on this sock I actually used a new cast on. Now usually I use the figure of 8 because I used the vanilla sock pattern by Nurturing Fibres. The only thing I don't knit is the Afterthought heel. I have done one before, but yeah, he likes, like I say, this Fleagle heel. And usually you do a figure of 8 on a magic loop. This is you do the figure of 8, so you're winding your wool on the 2 needles. So if you know what I mean, your 2 needles are like that and you're winding your wool. But this time I did what's called a Turkish cast on, And oh my goodness, it was brilliant. All you do is wrap the wool around, make a slip knot, put it on one needle and wrap it round both needles. It was absolutely fantastic and so easy to do. I will pop a link in down below to the tutorial that I watched for that. But that was amazing, absolutely amazing, that cast on was. And I will certainly use that cast on again. So yeah, so these are the socks all finished. So yeah, I will cast on another pair of socks because you know, it's just a nice knit when you're watching television, isn't it? So I have a new cast on which I am keeping in this project bag, and this is the World's Simplest Mittens by Tobyknits. So I'm using up a scrappy yarn here, but I have got another 100 grams. It's let me bring it up a bit closer. It is darker than what it's showing up. This is more the colour. This is wild salmon. You've probably seen me show you this hundreds of times. It's by Stylecraft, and it's in the, is it the Heathers range? Let me get the big ball out. It's no use to me. I hate it when it goes all stringy. That's why I wind them up. Stylecraft Highland Heathers, and it's in the wild salmon colourway. So I've still got this left over from, I made a cardigan for my granddaughter and I had quite a bit of wool left over. So I'd shown you this already. I'd knit this little bonnet. This is the Beloved Bonnet by Tobyknits, and I thought, you know, just as a stocking filler, I would knit some matching mittens. So this is how far I've got. Isn't it cute? You've got a little wrist. But it is quite a long rib, but I think either they fold over. But actually, if it goes up her arm a little bit, that's better, because there's less chance that it's going to fall off when she's in a pushchair, if you know what I mean. Because they're always losing the mittens and stuff. And I've just started now the thumb, increasing for the thumb. Although I'm a little bit confused by the pattern, because you increased either side of the stitch marker, but then it's telling me now that I've got to knit, increase, and then knit up to the stitch marker and increase another one. So I'm a bit confused, but we'll see if it turns out okay. Because I remember once knitting my brother a pair of mittens. I was only about 8 years old when he was in the Cubs, and it was it was dreadful, these mittens were. Now I like to knit on the DPNs. These are Knit Pro Symphonies. So no matter how I try, I can never cast on and start knitting in the round straight away. I can't do that. So I cast on and I knit 2 or 3 rows back and forth straight, and then I divide my stitches onto needles, which unfortunately leaves that little bit of a gap there, if you can see it. But what I will do is just close that with a stitch, so that'll be okay. But I can't do it. So it's no use trying to force the issue, is it? So while I'm on about Tobyknits, I want to show you this app. It's absolutely fantastic. So it's a free app. Just go into the App Store, download it. I've downloaded it onto my iPad, and yeah, I'm enjoying using it. So I'll show you that in a little bit more detail. As you know, you download from the App Store, and you upload to whichever electronic device you are using. So there are 9 fabulous free patterns, it says here. Now these are free on their website. So there's the barley hat, the flax sweater, the World's Simplest Mittens, Harvey sweater, the rice socks, wheat scarf, oats cowl, malt blanket and grain shawl. And we've been on a diet, I'm feeling hungry. Now those are the free patterns, but the other patterns, such as, you know, the paid for, these aren't on there yet. This app doesn't support it as yet, but they are working on it. So right, supposing you go on a pattern, let's pretend we want to knit the barley hat. You go on to that, it gives you all the different pictures, but you can go on to details and then you can pick your yarn weight, which I think's great. So sometimes we have like double knitting yarn, but it's only in a 4-ply pattern. So this is really good. So let's pretend we're doing a double knit. You go on sizes and you pick, it's got all your dimensions there. If you click on there, let's say we're doing a child. Okay, and it'll say 19 inches. It'll tell you what materials you need, the gauge, the needle suggested, and what you need to begin your project. And then straight away we can go straight in to the project information. You feed all that in. I don't know if it'll let me go any further actually, and then you can actually start your pattern, and there's your pattern all there for you. You see, you don't have to open up the end, you know, you search on the web for their site or anything, or print a pattern. It's all here for you. So yeah, it's great. I'll give you another example. If I go on my knits, oh, I've got Polly up there now. I've got Rosie's mittens, so let's open that out. So as you can see, I'm knitting these in a double knitting, toddler size. I've put my yarn in, what I'm using, and I'm just up to here at the moment. I'm doing the thumb gusset. So yeah, it's really good. And things are highlighted here, so I don't know, that doesn't do anything, but there are abbreviations, so you can always go back, and there are tutorials on here. So yeah, really good. So there we are, techniques and abbreviations and top tutorials, so really good. So as a, you know, really do suggest the Tin Can Knits app. So that is my knitting. I am going to, in the next couple of weeks, cast on my crochet blanket, which is the Yuletide blanket. I've got all the wool, I showed you that last time I spoke to you, and that's by Attic 24. And then also I want to cast on a hat. Now I've had the wool, I've had the wool about 2 or 3 years, I reckon. It's called the Alaskan hat, and I've been dying to knit this and just haven't. So I've put it as part of my WIP GO, which I'm going to explain what that is in a moment. But yeah, I'm going to cast on. So the next thing I want to share with you is my full coverage cross stitch. So at the moment I'm working on this one. It's Twilight Calm. It's from the Gold collection by a company called Dimensions. And I think I've got on with it quite well. So I think if I show you where I was last time and where I am now, you might see a bit of a difference. I'm sort of now working down, so you can't see those stitches, but I've popped them in, and I'm sort of working my way down. So I think I've only got a few squares to go to there, say, and that'll be that corner done then, and then work down. So I've only got, I think I've only got to work across to about here. I would say I'm at least, well, I know I'm over halfway. So yeah, really pleased how that's turning out. Well, I think I did say to you last time I spoke to you that I was looking at making one of these dresses. I think it's going to be this one. It's the lead pattern, and it's by Children's Corner, but the sizes are 4 to 8, and my granddaughter well, she's going to be 3 in October, but she is a small 3. So I'm just going to have a little think about that, using that pattern so soon. Because I don't want it too big for her, but I do think it's such a pretty pattern. And I bought that from the House of Smocking. It's a company in the UK. She's based in Worcester, actually, Worcestershire. And she's just started actually kitting these now. So I think it was this one, the Lee dress in the Mary D by Children's Corner. And she's actually got fabric now. So she's always had fabric, but what she's doing is cutting enough fabric to make this into a kit. And I think, if you look here, because that'll be pleated across there, she's actually pleating the fabric for you. So it's worth having a look at her website, and that's the House of Smocking. Right, okay, so usually on a Friday, while I'm showing you that, I usually make some garments. Now, I've not lost my garment, Joe, my sojo. What it is, I think I told you a couple of vlogs ago that I'd been really breathless. I hadn't been very well, and with my chest and my breathing. I am asthmatic, and I'd gone and had an X-ray, and when I rang for my results, anyhow, they said there was a shadow on the X-ray, but they thought that was my heart, and I thought, well, probably, yeah. They'd already done bloods, and I wasn't in heart failure or anything like that, because I was worried because my feet were swelling and things. So that was ruled out. So I had to go for a CT scan. So I went for the CT scan, and that was okay. I had to wait 3 weeks for the results. I don't think it was the hospital. I think it was my doctor's. But anyhow, that was all okay. So, phew. I was worried for a moment. Anyhow, they have given me a diagnosis now because I've had all the spirometry tests and things, and I've got COPD, cardio obstructive pulmonary disease. So I've gone on to a new inhaler, and I'm on tablets at night. I think it's Montelukast. I think it's like an antihistamine type tablet. But anyhow, that helps with the breathing. And then this new inhaler, Trimbo it's called, I'm on that twice a day. So I thought, I've got to really help myself here. And I need to lose weight, and it's been getting me down because I've put quite a bit on over, with COVID, like everyone. So with the NHS, we're very lucky, aren't we, to have our NHS in the UK. So I've got 12 free weeks with Slimming World, and I've got signed on in my county where I live in Cheshire East. They do a Kickstart program. So basically, if you haven't been exercising, what they do is they get you to sign up onto a 12-week program, and you do a circuit. And it's not hard. I mean, the press-ups are against the wall and that sort of thing, but it does get you moving, and you do feel it a bit the next day. I did. I could tell I'd exercised. So I go there on a Monday night, and then on a Tuesday night I go to Slimming World, and like I say, I get it free for 12 weeks, which I think is really good. So yeah, last week I lost, I think it was £2, and then this week I lost 5.5. So I've now lost half a stone. So yeah, I'm really pleased. I don't even know what my weight is, because I said to her, I don't want to know. I really don't want to know what my weight is. I don't want, to feel too down about that. So just tell me my losses and gains and things. So she said, okay. But, so yeah, I've come home tonight with winning a prize of groceries, which was very nice. And I just think to myself, when I lose my first 10% of body weight, that's when I'll feel a little bit more like sewing clothes for myself. It's no use sewing clothes for myself and then losing weight and they don't fit anymore. Mind you, I'm in a struggle going in them. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. So yeah, it's been really good actually, because you get so much help now with Slimming World, because they've got an app on the phone and you can scan it on a barcode and it'll tell you exactly how many sins or whatever it is in the food. It's really, really good. So, and plus they have a podcast, which is good. So yeah, I'm really pleased that I've lost that, but that's why I haven't been sewing clothes for myself so much. I just want to lose a little bit more weight and then I'll start sewing again. Right, but I have got some scraps of fabric that I need to get gone really. You know, when you've cut out a pattern and the big pieces left. So I'm perhaps make my grandchildren next Friday some more tops and stuff. So I'll show you them. Right, Saturday, I think is it the River Knoll? Oh, you know, I can never remember. The River Knoll quilt. It was a block of the month with Liberty Bell. And I never finished my quilt. And I've got quite a bit of it left to do. But I was aiming to start sewing that on a Saturday. But, you know, I just haven't been doing any crafting on a Saturday at all. My grandson has been in, well, he's only 11 and he plays the guitar, and him and his friend plays the drums, and him and his friend of this Saturday they played at a music festival in Milwich near Stafford, which was good. So we went to see them, and we were there till 9 o'clock at night. It was raining as well, which doesn't do your joints much good. But yeah, I'm really proud of him. I can't put a clip in because YouTube pick up on the music, you know, and give you a strike, so I can't upload that. But anyhow, I've just been doing different things, and you know, you can't always spend your time crafting, can you, as much as I'd like to. But I do aim to work on that this Saturday. But my Beatrix Potter quilt, the one I'm making for my granddaughters, I have done some work on that. Let me show you. So let me just pop the needles there. So this is squirrel nutkin, and last time I spoke to you I had stitched the leaves, and now I've, if I bring it up a bit closer you can see I've started the leg. But I haven't done a lot of it, and that took me quite a while because I'm only using one. Oh gosh, there's a needle on there, I didn't realise. I'm only using one piece of thread. Usually when you cross stitch you use two, or you know, with the dimensions 3 or 4, but with this it's just one, and you're just basically painting with thread. So not a lot done, but as I was doing it I was getting headache and my neck was really hurting, so I had to put this down. This is some linen I purchased from a charity shop, but yeah, I think it's looking okay. I mean, it might not turn out very good, I don't know. It's the first time I've ever done something like this, but I aim to get some more of this done on Sunday, stitched up. So we'll see how we go, there. Right, okay, so I'm thinking that's it. I did think as well to introduce a couple of sections to this podcast. So this bit is called Out of the Archive. And I don't think I've ever shown you this. You know, I mean I've been vlogging for quite a long time now, and when I think back, some of the things I've made and I never even showed. But this is my needle holder bag, you know, where I keep all my needles. It was a pattern, I saw it on Etsy, not the pattern, the actual case, and or Pinterest. It was one of them, and I just made it up off that. So I love this fabric. I really do. It's quite retro, isn't it? But when you open this out, you see, you've got your needles in there. And what I do is, you know, when you buy your needles, you get a little plastic, you know, the case, and then it'll have a little sticker on. I just peel them off and stick them on. So I know that in here, this section here, they're 4mm, you see. And inside, I've stitched some rubber. That was like off, you know, them pot holders. And then here is all my, these are fixed cables. I haven't used that yet. That's got some needles on. Usually that's for my scissors. Stitch hold, you know, stitch markers, and there's a little pocket in there, and I can put stitch markers on there. And then this is a bag, and that holds a lot of stuff, such as my cables and things. And then I've got another section here for my needles, you know, for me. These are for either DPNs, short ones, or, you know, the needles that you attach to your cables, because I was always losing them, see. So yeah, that's my needle bag. Right, the other thing I wanted to tell you, there's two other things I wanted to share with you. So there's two other things I wanted to share with you, and I thought I would share with you a vlog I've started to, well, I've watched her for a while now when she first started, and it's Anne, and her channel is called Tobyknits. Now, she does two vlogs. One's called Tobyknits, I think the other one's Toby Quilts, but she did live streams the other night. Now, she lives in Canada and does, and you know, it's about 12 o'clock here, and I was like dropping off asleep, but I watched and I joined in the chatter. And then on the Friday, I think it was, you must go watch it. I'm sure it was the quilting one, you see, and she was doing some quilting, and we were all chattering away. And she says she's quite new to quilting, which I'm quite surprised about. And anyhow, it gave me another idea, which I'll chat to you about in a moment, but made me laugh because originally, although she lives in Canada, she is actually from England, and she used to live in Liverpool. So I said to her, I said, before you go, just say goodbye in Scouse, which is a Liverpudlian accent. And she did, and it was so funny, because hearing her talk like that was just so different than what I'm used to a Canadian accent, see. So you must go watch it, it's so funny. But she's really is delightful. She's a lovely lady. And she was talking about applique, and then we were on the knitting one. I was telling her about the Fleegle eel. She never heard of, not many people had heard of the Fleegle eel. So you learn, aren't you? You're learning off one another. But it did give me an idea, because I've been quilting for quite a long time now. I'm not saying I'm brilliant or anything, but you know, you read a lot, don't you, and you learn a lot over the years, and it's nice to share knowledge. And she was on about binding a quilt, Anne was, and I said, oh, why don't you use Susie's Magic Binding or flange binding? And she said, oh, I've not heard of that one. And you know, so it's good to learn off one another. And I thought, well, you know, I'd love to do a separate series from my vlogs called ABC of Quilts. So each time, you know, maybe once a month, just go through the alphabet and relate it to quilting. So I think the first one I'll do is applique, because there's different ways you can applique, and I thought that would be really good to do. So hopefully people will like that. So that's something I'm thinking of doing. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you. Sorry about that, I'm probably looking really tired now, but my battery ran out. Right, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about is this thing called WIP GO. So, I don't know who I was watching. I ought to write down these notes when I'm watching YouTube, I really do. But I was watching, I forgot who it was, but one of the floss tubers, and they were talking about WIP GO, so WIP GO, so works in progress go, and they were talking about, you know, how they'd, you know, worked on their WIP GO project, and I thought, what's this WIP GO? Well, you know, I like lists, and I like to write down what projects I'm doing and things. I'm a right lister. This was right up my street, so I'm going to show you in more detail, but this is basically my WIP GO. So it was designed by a lady called Jessica, and I'll pop a link into her channel below because she explains it far better than what I'm going to explain it if you don't know about WIP GO. So, do you ever remember the old bingo cards? You know, they used to be at a fun fair, didn't they? And you'd put beer bottle tops, you know, when they called out the numbers. Well, basically, it's based on a bingo card. So, there's 25 squares there, and the middle one there is free. Okay, that always used to be covered up, didn't it? And basically, what you do is, what the floss tubers do is, because you know a lot of them will have quite a few projects, they will pop in each square a project. So say someone was stitching, you know, a heaven and earth design, and then here they might pop in that they were doing a Plum Street sampler one, or they might be doing a sampler, and they pop in the different projects, and then they decide how many hours they're going to devote to that during the month. So what Jessica does, she's got a Facebook group called WIP GO 2023, which I've joined. So what she does is she calls two numbers like a bingo caller every month, you see. So like here, she's January, she called number 6 and 10. So you would go to that square with number 6 and see what project you'd put in and what your goal was, and for that month you would work on that, and on number 10 you would as well, you see. And I thought, what a brilliant idea. So she was saying you can do it for anything at all. So I thought I would do it for some projects I need to get sorted out. So I'm a bit late in joining the party. I made this board up about 3 months ago. I really need to start cracking on with it. I'm not going to complete everything, but basically what I've done is I've popped in some of my projects, what I'd like to get done. So I'll show you in more detail, and then what I've said is I'm going to work, my goal is to work for 15 hours each month on the project number called. So I'll show you in a bit more detail. So the channel to go to is Jessie Marie Does Stuff. There's a video on there that shows you how to set up the board. If you join her Facebook group, then there are free templates on there for you to download or to give you ideas. And what you do is you set your own goals. So it might be that you work on the project, say, for a few hours a month. I've put 15 hours. So for example, for January, 6 and 10 were called. So that means in January I should have worked for 15 hours on a big knitting project, and then garment sewing with scraps for another 15 hours in January. So as you can see on number 10, I've marked off with orange 5 dots, which means I've worked on this project for 5 hours. So yeah, that's what you do. And when I reach 15 dots on that particular square, I'll mark it off green. So I thought that was a great idea, and I can't wait to start completing some of the sections of my WIP GO board. So we'll see how we get on with that. So every month every vlog I'll show you the progress on that. So before I go, I've got some more news to share with you. A bit of a giveaway here. But yeah, I've had a huge craft haul. So near to me in Asbury, Congleton, there is a garden centre, and it has a craft shop, which I used to love, that craft shop, because it had lots of buttons. So many a time I've bought wool from them, and I've also, you know, you can nip in there and get your zips and your buttons and what have you. And they sell cards, paint, crayons, stamps and all that sort of thing. And I've attended a couple of classes there. Yeah, it's been really good, because while he's looking at compost, I've been in the craft room, you see. And I went in the other weekend, it was closing down, not the garden centre but the craft room, and it was 50% off everything. So yeah, I've even bought a big shot, although I've got a cuttle bug, which is a die cutter. It's giving up the ghost a bit on me because I'm trying to crank it and it's hurting my arm. So I've been after a big shot for a while, and to pick it up for £44 I thought was brilliant. But it's too big a craft haul to share with you because I'll be on here for hours. So what I will do is, over the vlogs, anything I've picked up from that craft sale, I'll point out to you. So that meant I had to have a little tidy round in my craft room to make sure I could fit everything in. And I thought, you know, I'm just going to go through some of my cross stitch patterns. And there was this one here, and this is actually a dimensions, and it's a set really. There was 6 cats, but this is, like I say, was in a charity shop. It's just the one cat. I think this one's called Tansy. Is it? Yeah, Tansy. So in here you get the needle, you get the flexi hoop, obviously the instructions, 14 count white Aida, and the stranded cotton. Like I say, I don't know if it's been opened before, because it is from a charity shop, so I don't know, but I thought, I picked it up. I think it cost me about £4, but you know, I'm not going to get it stitched because I'm not a big cat lover, to be honest. I just purchased it because I thought, well, you know, it's worth it for the hoop and the threads. But anyhow, it seems a shame not to stitch the kit, so I'm going to give this away. Just remember the rules, that if you've got to be over 18, if you don't live in the UK and you were successful, then you might be liable for import charges, and they can be quite expensive. So just be aware of that if you want to try and win this prize. So all I ask you to do is not in your comments put giveaway or anything that alludes to a giveaway, because we do get people who peruse the YouTubes for giveaways. They'll subscribe and, you know, win the prize and then not bother again with you. So yeah, I only want a viewer to win this. So what I ask you to do is subscribe, give this vlog a like please, and yeah, use the word Tansy, which is TANSY, and then I'll pop that into the comment picker. So yeah, there we go, little giveaway there. Right, I think that's everything I need to share with you, and yeah, I'm hoping in a couple of weeks to upload a vlog called the ABC of Quilting. Until then, happy crafting. Bye.